It's an important day for rugby union and indeed all fans of elite sport and entertainment. To explain why one of Australia's most successful businessmen, an internationally renowned philanthropist and the proud founder of a fresh and exciting global sporting brand. Andrew Forrest, congratulations. It's not every day you get the green light to do something new from a governing body that's 130 years old.
No, thank you, Mark. You're right. This is a major moment for the fans and for rugby. It's so exciting to finally be able to release the details of Global Rapid Rugby. Just a few hours ago in London, the World Rugby Council provided the final approval, the stamp, to a vision we all had, and I drove a little over 12 months ago. A vision to enhance the wonderful sport of rugby and provide the Asia-Pacific region with a new and dynamic sporting experience. This is not just about rugby and rugby lovers. This is also about great entertainment, mateship and the power of sport in building strong communities. It's not been a simple road, but I would like to thank the World Rugby Chairman Bill Beaumont, Chief Executive Brett Gosper and everyone else involved from around the world that have been bold and brave enough to support this brand new competition. The name and the logo speak to everything Rapid Rugby will be. A rapid game style and broadcast. The rapid development of new talent and new rugby markets. And a rapid game day experience that will have appeal beyond the traditional rugby fan base. And, as I mentioned, the rapid growth of local communities in the areas where we play is fundamental to us. Family and community. They are the critical elements in everything my wife Nicola and I do with our foundation, Minderoo. But I also believe that even the most serious commercial enterprises should have a really strong community benefit. For Rapid Rugby, it's simple. In places where outstanding young people, both boys and girls, men and women, are often forced to move away from their heartland, their homeland, to reach their potential, this new competition will help them stay. Malaysia, Japan, Fiji, Samoa and Tonga are laden with raw new talent and ability, just like we are in Australia, but the best players there are often bereft of opportunity, like sometimes they are here, to display it on their own shores. They are, in many ways, the game's future. While on the future, I'd like to stress that today is just the start of the journey. The 2019 competition will evolve into 2020, 2021, and for several years going forward as we continue to grow and add more teams. We trialled a version of Rapid Rugby. It's a series of exhibition games this year, a series that included the Pacific Islands, the Crusaders, the Wild Knights, the Rebels, the Force, huge crowds in the stand, great rugby on the field, and millions of eyes on free-to-air TV across Australia and around the world via Twitter. It proved its appeal. I can't wait to get started next year. And that brings us to the inaugural Global Rapid Rugby participants. Owned and operated by a mixture of private enterprise and the pre-existing team administrations, it's my great pleasure to reveal that year one will include the Dragons from Singapore, the first international team from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, blessed by the King of Malaysia and supported by the professional sport from South Africa, and the South China Tigers from Hong Kong. We're selecting a team from Japan, a fantastic rugby playing nation. The tough tackling Samoans are on board, as are the flying Fijians. And of course, last and never ever least, the Western Force from my very own home state of Western Australia. It's an impressive lineup, isn't it? Rapid Rugby is definitely going to be fun to play and entertaining to watch.
It's a list of names and nations with plenty of flair, Andrew, that's for sure. Japan, can you just clarify that?
Yeah, Japan, in accordance with Japanese Rugby Football Union policy and protocol, official sanction for a team to join Rapid Rugby can only be provided now that World Rugby has given the competition a green light. So yes, the actual identity of our team from Japan should be announced in the next week or so.
Andrew, the most radical feature of the competition is the new laws and the variations to the laws of the game, designed to keep the ball in play more, make the game faster, more free scoring and more appealing to TV viewers.
Yes, Mark, it's different to the traditional game. Yet still 15 players aside, and we know it will complement the game so strongly, keeping the ball in play, creating the space for players to execute their skills and be as entertaining to fans as you'll ever get in sport at every opportunity. That's what Rapid Rugby is designed to produce. We want to encourage the counter-attack and from what is normally seen as a purely defensive zone and create more fast football. To achieve this, we've made some revolutionary changes. Reducing overall game time to 70 minutes, 2 35-minute halves. Reduce the opportunity and ability of teams to kick the ball directly out of play. The art of the line-out remains, but there will be less of them. Decrease the numbers in the defensive line. Introduce rolling substitutions where players come off the ground because of fatigue, injury or tactics and still be able to return. And reward and incentivise aggressive attacking tactics and game style.
A simple question then, why? Why does rugby need all this?
Because like all sports, rugby needs to evolve. The modern sports public is sport for choice and demands easily digestible, fast-paced action. Stats show that a lot of high-level rugby is currently played with the percentage of time the ball is alive and in play is coming down below 40%. That's roughly 32 out of 80 minutes of actual game time. I'm not saying that leads to a bad game, just a very different one to ours. Rapid Rugby plans to strongly increase the time the ball is alive and in play to at least 55% or roughly 38 out of our 70 minutes of game time.
Former Wallaby and long-time Western Force captain Matt Hodgson is the Global Rapid Rugby Head of Rugby.
It's an exciting day for players and fans alike, with the introduction of new law variations as part of Global Rapid Rugby. No longer will teams be able to kick out on the full within their own 22. We'll see attacking play from within the 22, but also more counter-attack as teams kick down the centre of the field. This will introduce more rugby for the fan, but also more rugby for the player. We are looking to change the card system. Yellow cards will remain the same with a player sin bin for 10 minutes, while the red card will change. A player will be sent off, but he can be replaced after 15 minutes. We have tweaked the variations so teams can be more attacking. That's what we are all about at Global Rapid Rugby. More rugby for you, more rugby for the players.
So Hodjo is one of these rare animals. He's been the most successful guy you can get in rugby. He's played for the national team. He's captained a super successful state team. He's loved across the state of Western Australia by all the players. You'd think, okay, this guy can only think how to play the ball after all that time. But he doesn't. He's got this intellect which is so wide. He can grapple with captains of industry, he can grapple with the World Council, and he's the best guy because no one can really fault his technical background, his technical skill and application, his knowledge, but he's also an entrepreneur. So when he negotiates with the World Council of Rugby, he's coming from a basis of fact, of knowledge, yet he's an entrepreneur, he can get the point through. We're lucky to have him.
Now, I want to ask you about the marquee players, the use of the marquee players to ensure the standard of the competition is elite and even across the board.
It's going to be such an exciting game. We've committed to recruiting around 20 of the best 100 players in the world today to join Rapid Rugby in the next 2 seasons. They will be placed in different teams depending on the team's needs in the interest of creating a level playing field across the board. But before any of my friends in the media run off and print that this is a rebel league, please let me repeat the first part of today's announcement. World Rugby has fully sanctioned the competition, and in many cases the marquee players we will recruit will also play in other competitions around the world as well. We're all in this together. Because it's a World Cup year, it will be difficult for us to add too much star power in 2019, but we're going to do our best, and we will be talking to some fantastic people, some of the biggest names in the game in the next few weeks, now that the competition is up and away and official. We've already started, in fact, signing former All Black Jeremy Thrush to the Western Force.
Andrew, in a former life when I was one of those members of the media of which you speak, I'd be throwing up some names as examples of the best players in the world, like Dan Carter and a host of other All Blacks, Sean McMahon and even Dwayne Van Meulen. Would I be right?
Well, watch this space is all I'm allowed to say right now, but I am excited. When I mention we're targeting the very best available, I do mean the very best.
Now, we are going to hear from a couple of other key architects in this rugby revolution, including Michael Lynagh in London. The World Cup winner is an ex-Wallaby captain, now a captain of industry and a World Rugby Hall of Famer. He's also one of the first people Andrew Forrest turned to.
I'm sorry I can't be with you today on what is a pretty momentous occasion, really. A lot of hard work by a lot of people. This has come to fruition. Very exciting day, particularly given all that work that all the people behind this have done. So thank you to all of them for that. And also thank you to Andrew Forrest. It's his vision, his personal drive, financial clout, of course, that has made this possible. When the demise of the Western Force happened last year, I was sat here in London, and it was a very, very disappointing episode in Australian rugby, and in fact, in the Australian sporting landscape. However, Andrew and all the others, Matt Hodgkinson in particular, have turned it into an opportunity with global rapid rugby. And thank you to World Rugby for the sanction that they've given this competition and the development of the Asian Pacific sort of corridor between Australia and up into Asia, which is certainly a huge growth area for rugby on a global stage.
So Michael Lynagh is just a great human being. He's terrific to work with. Like Hodjo, really deep knowledge and very global, knows the media industry, knows the rugby industry, loved on all sides. And he's been fantastic to come out and thoroughly endorse from the very early stages. He's looked into our eyes, he's known we're true blue, and he said, I'm going to back you with everything I possibly can. And he has.
Andrew, before we hear from some of the other key people involved, any other headline-grabbing announcements you want to make?
Yeah, look, thank you, Mark. I do want to address the omission of Western Sydney from the 2019 team list. I've said previously that this rugby-mad part of our country that has been left to fend for itself in many ways should be included in this competition. I don't back down from that, and I still want Western Sydney on board. I believe in them. They should be part of us. We leave no man behind. However, it won't happen next year because of a lack of political foresight. The hurdles have not been put up by Rugby Australia, though. In fact, I would like personally to thank CEO Raelene Castle for working closely with us for the last 6 months. It's others on the east coast of Australia that have failed to understand the value, and it's multi-million-dollar value, that an international entrepreneur who I won't name has offered to bring to this region and the state by running a Western Sydney Rapid Rugby team. That's a challenge for 2020, and one I will assist with in every way I can.
On expansion plans, you have previously said a team based in China and a New Zealand team are part of the long-term plan.
Absolutely. There could be as many as 12 teams in the competition within 5 years. I'm keen to invest in building the great sport of rugby union in China and in India, something that would benefit the entire region of this massive part of the world. I'm pleased to say New Zealand Rugby Chairman Brett Impey and CEO Steve Chu are seriously interested in what we're doing. They've come to know us and know us closely, and I will continue to talk to them about entering a team soon. Maybe a Kiwi team playing out of an Asian location, who knows?
This is probably a good place to explain that Global Rapid Rugby will be governed by the Hong Kong Rugby Union, not Rugby Australia as many have assumed, because this is an Asia-Pacific based competition, Andrew, not an Australasian based competition.
You're right, Mark. Hong Kong is the perfect home for us, and we are so excited about that. Further, we avoid all those stultifying, walking through honey of the politics and bureaucracy of Rugby Australia. Now, Raelene's doing a fantastic job trying to drag them into the next century, but we needed to avoid all that. We needed to be fast-moving, have rapid decision-making, no bias, and that's why we're so excited about rugby in Hong Kong. Their management, I believe, will be great. And the team that they field, the South China Tigers, they're going to be great for the competition. It's an ideal beginning for what will ultimately be the addition of a homegrown Chinese team. I'm so looking forward to that, Mark.
Hong Kong Rugby Union Chief Executive Robbie McRobbie is definitely up for the challenge.
Rugby is on the rise in Asia and across the Pacific. Record numbers of boys and girls are taking up the game, and the potential for further expansion in countries like China and India is truly breathtaking. We believe that now is the time for a new competition that will provide a platform and a showcase for Asian rugby talent. Now is the time for Global Rapid Rugby, and Hong Kong are delighted to have been selected not only as one of the participating teams, but also to deliver the competition services. With 2 Bledisloe Cups, a Lions match, and 44 years of the Sevens under our belts, we feel ready for the next exciting challenge. We're ready for Rapid Rugby.
He's right, Mark. Asia is the future of the sport. You've got 65–70% of the world's people all live in the Indo-Pacific, Asia-Pacific region. That's where 95% of the world's economic growth is going to come from. That huge region of the world is catching up so fast with the Western world for all their elite sports entertainment. Something about rugby, Mark, which builds communities, bands people together, gives joy across communities. I want to bring that so hard into that Indo-Asia-Pacific region. I want rugby, brand Australia, brand rugby to spread all across that massive region of the world.
Of the highlights of this year's trial series, Andrew, that, as you mentioned, was extremely successful, the power try, one of your personal favourites, a try that begins inside your own 22. It not only remains but has been improved.
Look, that's true. I can clearly remember the New Zealand Crusaders' Mitchell Drummond scoring the first power try. It was spectacular, and Crusaders coach Scott Robinson told me after the match that they were determined to score one. We'll see more of them next year, with opposition teams no longer able to deliberately give away a penalty to kill the forward phase. And the power try will be worth more, up from 7 to an automatic 9 points with a conversion kick not required.
The other element I love is the $1 million prize money, winner takes all.
Elite, entertaining games deserves a prestigious prize. I look forward to watching the race to first place. It's going to be fun, Mark.
Andrew, I know discussions will heat up now with broadcast and commercial partners now that World Rugby has given the green light.
Hear, hear. We're already talking to a host of television and digital broadcasters, Mark, around the world. And there's some really exciting ideas being thrown around, as you know. Global Rapid Rugby was presented recently at the annual Sportel Broadcasters Conference in Monaco. And the concept of completing the entire match broadcast within 90 minutes, so well received. We're looking at a late February start date with a 3-week final series concluding with a June grand final. Commercially, the team has been flat out, have already signed the leading ticketing agency Zunga, a company that serves 1/3 of the world's population.
We're very excited to partner with Rapid Rugby and help drive a concept we think has a huge future. Zunga makes tickets simple for everyone, everywhere. Our passion for democratizing access and our rapidly growing global footprint, we believe, will make the difference to Rapid Rugby in all the countries that it is played. As a new age Web 2.0 cloud-based ticketing company built on the latest tech stack, Zunga is looking forward to delivering a state-of-the-art ticketing and membership program to rugby fans around the world. Having worked with some of the largest sporting bodies in the world, such as FIFA, ICC, and with some of the biggest sporting leagues from their infancy, delivering sellout crowds, we feel well positioned to ticket this great league. We think Rapid Rugby has tremendous potential and are looking forward to working with the vision and mission of its founders. Zunga is delighted to be a part of the Rapid Rugby revolution.
So there you have it. That's an exhaustive amount of information to get through in one announcement, but that's what you get when you start an entire new league. And to finish, a final word from the founder of Global Rapid Rugby, Mr. Andrew Forrest.
Yeah, no, thank you, Mark. The name, Global Rapid Rugby. It does suit the philosophy of fast-moving, free-scoring festival of entertainment. Brand new name for a bold new beginning. Let's all get on board.